somewhere else, but this is where we found ourselves. Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
Welcome to another edition of the local show here on GrassRoots Community Network. I'm Erik Skarvan, your host. Thank you guys for joining us here, and welcome to our YouTube and Facebook audience. We're here each week in Aspen, Colorado, featuring inspirational locals up and down the Roaring Fork Valley. We've got a population in the valley of close to 50,000, and I'm really happy to have a first-time guest. He works at the Pitkin County Landfill and Solid Waste Center. It's Michael Port. Welcome to the show, Michael. Hi,
Thanks,
Elbows.
Eric. Elbows.
Safe distancing and greeting.
Yes, good
there.
to see you. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Good to meet you for the first time as well.
Yeah.
And you are the C&D Diversion Specialist, which we'll talk about, at the Pitkin County Solid Waste Center, also known as the Pitkin County Landfill. And welcome to the show, and thank you for sharing the couch with Luna, our mascot today.
My pleasure.
She's pretty high-strung, like annoying dog, isn't she?
Yeah, very much so. Very much.
She just won't let you alone. Probably hear her snoring in a few minutes.
Very comforting.
She's a good little local show mascot. So we got so much to get to today, but I wanted to kind of start with a little bit of your background. You had, were you born and raised in Southern California?
Yeah, I was born in Los Angeles and grew up there, and kind of lived in Southern California my whole kind of growing up years and into my early 20s.
Okay,
And,
so through high school and into college too?
Into college, I went to San Diego State.
Nice.
Yeah, so stayed in that kind of SoCal bubble.
Nice. Little surfing, little water sports.
Here and there, definitely a beach guy. Really enjoyed, boogie boarding and bodyboarding and doing some beach bike rides, all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. God, it's so beautiful. I have a brother in San Clemente. We were talking a little before the show, and you have some connections in San Clemente as well.
Yeah, my essentially brother-in-law is running for city council there, so I'm sure they know each other. They've run into each other out on the waves. So.
I'm going to give a shout out to my brother Jeff. He's a year younger, and we're going to be together in a couple weeks. We actually do an annual trip to northern Wisconsin. We grew up in the Milwaukee area. But spent a lot of time going up north, as they like to say there. You know, you go up north on the weekends, and you go to summer camp in the summer, and we're going to do a fishing trip for a week up by Hayward, which is also known as the muskie capital of the world. Do you know what a muskie is?
No, I don't. Please.
It's like a northern pike, but more vicious.
Great.
It's like a freshwater barracuda,
okay, and
basically.
so you're seeking those out.
Yes, we're seeking those out. They like take ducks off the surface and have known to attack small humans.
Okay.
So yeah, muskies.
Well, you seem like a larger than average human, so maybe you're safe.
I think I have a fighting chance, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I'm going to beat those guys in a couple of weeks.
Excellent.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, sounds great.
But then you'd go on and you actually studied, was it just a few years ago? You were in Sweden?
Yeah, so I did my master's actually in Sweden at Lund University. So that's in the southern part of the country, really close to Denmark, Copenhagen.
Wow.
And so I studied, it's called environmental management and policy. So it was kind of like, what's the economic business case for sustainability, and how does a company take advantage of that to, produce products that align with sustainability-oriented customers, or, evaluate their environmental impact. And so, it was a really great international program. Got to collaborate with Europeans and Asians and people from all around the world, and so it was really excellent experience. Wow. Yeah.
God, I bet that must have been incredibly. How long were you there in Sweden?
So I was living there for a year and a half.
Okay.
So between 2017 and summer of 2018, I was living there.
What'd you think of the people? What'd you think of the people?
Yeah, so the people, I'm actually Swedish, so I visited there a lot when I was growing up, so I felt really at home, actually.
Okay.
So the Swedes are, I would say, depending on the season, so that's kind of how a Swede acts. So winters
seasonal
are very
moods.
Seasonal moods. So winters are very cold and dark, and so there's not a lot of interaction. Everyone's trying to get back to their houses basically because it's so cold and dark outside. But then in the summer, everyone kind of comes out, and it's really similar to Colorado. I feel like everything opens up and spreads out, and you can go sit on patios and have meals and drinks, and everyone is. But really, I would say kind of the main thing that was interesting is the kind of environmental stewardship sort of mentality that everyone has there, just kind of growing up, which is really excellent. And
so they have a consciousness about the environment and caring for nature.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like Colorado kind of has that element too, because we love the mountains and we love getting outdoors as much as possible. So I think there's a lot of similarities there.
And a fair amount of us Scandahoovians living in Colorado too. So that's a good crossover.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break, Michael, rehydrate. And I do want to take a moment to thank our summer underwriters, including Pitkin County Landfill, Aspen Square, CMC Aspen, Klug Properties, Live Aspen Art, Sundog Athletics, White River Overland. We'll take a quick break, guys. Our only one of the show. We'll be back with Michael Port. We have so much to get to. We're going to talk about recycling, construction diversion, some cool things you guys can do to care for Mother Nature. So don't go away. White River Overland specializes in camper van upfitting and overland outfitting. Catering to mountain dwellers and outdoor enthusiasts, many of WRO's builds are purpose-driven to facilitate and enhance skiing, cycling, camping, climbing, and river adventures. Nestled in the White River National Forest, close to the deserts of western Colorado and Utah, WRO also rents camper vans and accessories. More at whiteriveroverland.com. CMC is preparing the people who make Aspen work. CMC Aspen collaborates with the community, providing skilled workers, future leaders, and problem solvers, meeting our economy's needs, ensuring opportunity and workforce integrity for generations to come.
I'm so passionate about this community. I absolutely love living here and raising my family here. It gives me a lot of pride to share this with my friends and my clients and help them achieve their dreams of owning an Aspen snowmass and enjoying this incredible lifestyle.
Live Aspen Art is a working studio at the base of Aspen Highlands. Come meet the artists and view both finished pieces and works in progress by owner Olivia Dane and visiting artists, or take private art classes offered for kids and adults. Olivia's recent works are also on view at Opera Gallery at the base of Aspen Mountain. For more information, contact Olivia at 970-379-2539 for an appointment or visit liveaspenartgallery.com.
Welcome to the local show. People you work with, people you know.
We're back here on the local show. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. Each week here on GrassRoots Community Network, now in our 17th year, over 400 shows in, Michael. And we finally got you on the local show.
I finally made it.
Finally made it. You've arrived, buddy. Here in the Valley, here on the show. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for your caring about the environment. We just had our community trash crush community cleanup last week. It was our fifth annual Pristine Riders Trash Crush, tied into a nonprofit I recently launched, along with partner Kent Blackmer, who founded Pristine Riders. So we combine cycling and picking up litter. And in Sweden, you may have heard of it when you were there, or maybe when you got back, plogging, where they pick up litter while jogging.
That's right.
Plogging.
That's right.
That's pretty wild, isn't it?
Clever name as well.
Isn't that?
Yeah, so I think the PL part is plukka, to pick up. Oh. And then jogging. But yeah, it started right around when I was living there, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Did you go plog?
I didn't have a chance to do it myself.
Okay, next time.
But next time, and maybe you're already kind of doing something like that here, so I'd definitely love to join. Yeah,
well, I'll definitely fill you in. We got so much to talk about just with Pristine Riders, but I'm really excited. And so we did get a decent turnout. We'll have a big thank you ad in the Aspen Times coming up with more on that. But that was our fifth cleanup. And even though we're in pristine Aspen, Colorado, which you would think would be spotless and clean, there's still litter. and there's not a lot of it as compared to other places, for sure. But there still
Right.
is litter on the road, on the paths, on the trails now. We see the blue masks in particular. I call that the litter du jour
Right.
this summer. And a lot of these, what they call in Crested Butte, which I was just visiting last weekend, I announced the Grand Traverse event. They call them Kleenex flowers. I go, what's a Kleenex flower? And then I went, oh, right away. Oh, it's those Kleenexes you see all over the trails too.
Right.
So it seems like just more Kleenexes and masks than ever. But whatever the litter of the year is, or the litter du jour, it's still a problem. And I think that's one thing that's easy that any of us can do. I like to say, bend at the waist and pick up the waste. What are a few
That's
other
very
things
clever.
that anyone? Yeah, I'm gonna come up with all. I love trash talk. It's
Yeah.
like coming up with these things. But what are a few other things that anyone can do that are kind of easy, just day-to-day things we can do for the environment?
Sure. Well, from what we can do, really, we're consumers. So how do you interact with when you go shopping or when you're thinking of things that you need or want to buy? I know you're a big fan of the minimalism
Yes.
kind of mentality, but
Yes.
do I need this item or do I want it? And, is there an alternative item? For example, buying a bag of fruit in a plastic bag. Could I just buy loose fruit and have a reusable bag and, do that? So I think it's just as far as, really starting with going shopping, how
Right.
can you minimize your waste or choose items that are kind of going to be less wasteful when you dispose of them ultimately. So I think those are kind of the good places to start. And then,
Yes, I love
as
that.
you see litter, like as you believe, if you see litter, out on the trails, why not pick up a piece and at least one, and that's making a difference, I think. So.
Yeah, we have these. I get it that it's gross and it's germs and it's unsanitary, and no argument with any of that. Pet pickups, we have almost every other block, and you could just take a pet pickup and pick up that waste, just like you would pick up your pet's waste. It's easy for us. I mean, I have 2 dogs, so I'm used to pulling out bags 4, 5, 6 a day.
Right.
So why not just take it and go like that with that little Kleenex flower that someone so graciously left us after their visit? It's great that they spread economy, but we don't need to spread COVID or litter.
Yeah, maybe it's a little different in these times, but yeah.
So it's and that's a thing, and anyway, there's all kinds of like product ideas I'm getting in my mind. Like, why not just rebrand those as pet and human waste pickups?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And just getting people thinking more in terms of, why can't I just use that to pick up litter? It doesn't have to be a single-use kind of a thing.
Right.
So anyway, that's a kind of an easy thing, and picking up litter each day, and like we say in Pristine Riders, just one. It could be just something just as simple, and guess what? When you start doing it, it becomes kind of addictive, right?
Right.
You see the before and after, and then sharing the message, right? Which is what you guys do through, Pitkin County Landfill. That sends out that ripple effect, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think you hit on an interesting point as well. Items that you buy, try and buy something that's going to be usable for different applications as well. Like single-use items, that's a big thing as well. Trying to cut down on those single-use and reusing and trying to apply them in many different ways in your life that you can. Be creative. I think that's a fun part of it.
What about frugal hacks? I like to call them. Like each day I've got a bunch of frugal hacks that I like to do. Like immediately when I finish with my toaster or my coffee maker, I pull the plugs. Like I
Right.
just pull plugs on appliances all the time. Or like when I leave town, even for a day or two, I pull all the plugs. Like turn the computer off, pull the plug. Turn the TVs, pull the plugs. That's another thing. I like to repurpose, like when I do get the bags from the grocery store, especially these lovely resealables for the organic produce, repurpose those. Again, just kind of, hacks and things that we can do. What are a couple things that frugal things that you like to do just in your personal life?
Well, my biggest thing, I have this giant water bottle here. I never buy water bottles anymore. You're already paying for water at your home, so why would you buy more water in a single-use plastic bottle? Why don't you just fill up your water, your reusable bottle? I think that's my number one thing. But then definitely, the energy use aspect as well. You can unplug and, just think about your energy use when you're not at home. Maybe install some install some, sensors for your lights outside
Nice.
your home, potentially, so you don't have to flip them on and off or forget that you left one on.
That's another one. Turn the lights off when you leave the room. Or my dad would say, "Don't leave this place lit up like a Polish church."
Right.
He used to say, "What do you mean, like every light on, Dad, when we leave, like Friday?" And I was like, "We're little kids. That's a bad thing."
Haven't heard that
Not
one
like a
before.
Polish church. Yeah.
Right.
Well, hey, I guess they're pretty lit up.
And I guess
Lit up ski.
Yeah, they love lighting.
love their lighting.
But yeah, and also on the lighting aspect is LED bulbs. So you're paying
Yes.
more upfront for that bulb, but then that has such a longer lifespan and is more energy efficient. So it's like 90% of the cost, or 90% less of the cost on your light bulb usage, energy usage compared to an incandescent. So that's another big one.
That's another big one. Easy at home.
Super
Now
easy.
you're on big scale though. You're talking about working on construction diversion. It's up to 57 or 58% of the material that goes in the land. Almost 60% of the material that goes in landfill each year is construction or demolition related, which is mind blowing.
Right.
Which also shows that development is just massive here.
Right.
And it doesn't seem to really be affected by COVID, except maybe being more construction than ever this past
People
summer.
are maybe more interested in building their second home or having a getaway home. out
Or
here in the
making it their
mountains.
permanent
Or
home.
making it their permanent
and
home.
renovating
Yeah,
it to be their
fixing that
permanent
up,
residence.
exactly.
We saw like 150 families plus move here this summer,
Right.
which is pretty interesting too. But let's talk about that a little bit, because you were brought in, with that background and some of that study you did in Sweden as well, to kind of help us with diverting more. Because up to, what is it, Michael, 35% of that construction and demolition material could be potentially diverted
That's right.
and or recycled. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so as you noted, over 50% of what goes into our landfill is from construction activities. And the landfill, we've done some studies where we actually realized that at least 35% of that material could actually be recycled through existing programs that we have at the Solid Waste Center. So things like concrete, clean wood, cardboard, these are materials that we can actually recycle there. So if that was separated out from the landfill trash, we could actually create a productive second use of those materials, save
Right.
landfill space, reduce our environmental impacts. And so the county recognized this issue that we're kind of filling up to capacity with our landfill just from the construction material. And so they created this new ordinance this year, which created my position. And we have this kind of bigger focus on reducing construction waste and really working with the construction industry to get them to help them out to do some better recycling. And it's a really actually innovative program for the state of Colorado, but also the U.S. We have a pretty unique program here.
And Boulder has a pretty aggressive diversion program, don't they? Aren't they diverting like 60% of their construction waste? Or
Yeah.
something like this. They have a pretty high number, I think.
Yeah, so they have a few things going on. One thing that they actually require is deconstruction. So as opposed to demolition, where you just knock down a whole building,
Take the wrecking ball and trash it all.
they actually promote deconstruction, where you disassemble and really preserve the material. Say like the cabinetry, you keep it whole, and then you can donate it or reuse it in another project. And that's, we kind of learned from Boulder, and also Fort Collins is another community doing this kind of work. But we're trying to lead the way sort of on the western slope.
And then would you actually sell some of those items to be repurposed, sell those to the public? Because I think Boulder don't they have like it's somewhat like a restore, but they then can take those materials that have been carefully and thoughtfully deconstructed and resell them to the public, correct?
Yeah, so they have a big facility called Charm, where they actually, they do resell a lot of these materials, and we actually are aspiring to have a facility like that here in Pitkin County at our facility in the next few years, something along those lines. So, that's a really excellent program that they have, and we would love to emulate that. And then on the recycling side, when we take in concrete or wood, the wood actually goes into our compost, which we then sell to the community as topsoil or compost. And then the concrete we actually resell for construction. So it's actually keeping all those materials local and putting them back into the community for a pretty, low price as well.
And you guys have this green halo. In fact, the the name of the show is Wearing a Green Halo. And I can see yours right now, Michael, your green halo right over there. Oh, yeah, there's a little hallelujah choir going on at the same, rays coming down through the clouds. But tell us a little bit about the green halo, because that's one of the new aspects too, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So this is a pretty multifaceted program that we put in place, but one of the big elements is we have partnered with Green Halo, which does a construction waste tracking software. So we're actually going to have really great data on the county level construction recycling rates, sort of granular data. What kind of materials are we seeing?
Okay.
At what rate are they recycling? And then it actually can convert that data into what's our carbon impact, like of actually reducing that from going to landfill. And instead of buying a new material, it's offsetting with the recyclables. So it's going to be a useful tool for the contractors who are actually doing the work, and then also really interesting data at the county that we can use to further this construction recycling program and kind of figure out what's going to work best for the community. So we're really excited to put that in place by the end of this year.
And then there's also a new pricing structure, correct? So if you're in construction company owner, you would look at certain fees, right? Fee structures for what's being diverted, what's not being diverted, and things like that.
Yeah, so with any kind of material that we take in at the Solid Waste Center, there's kind of different prices. And so what we've done with this ordinance is, put the financial incentives in place to make it more cost effective for people to reduce their trash and separate more recycling. So our recycling fees are much lower than if you would send that to trash. And actually the more trash that a particular construction job generates, there are some tiers it'll get incrementally more expensive as the trash figure goes up, as that amount goes up.
Right.
So we're trying to put these incentives in place to make the financials in favor of better recycling. So we're measuring that now, seeing how that's working out.
A little carrot and stick approach.
Exactly.
You have some incentives, disincentives, things like that. What's the general attitude, or how is it being received by developers?
So I would say the contractors I've spoken with the most, and they are actually, everyone realizes that this is a significant challenge for Pitkin County.
Yeah.
So I'm actually very surprised and happy that a lot of people are really supportive of the program, and they appreciate that the county is doing something to work on this issue. So the response has actually been really great. I've been surprised. I've been in the position for a month and a half, but the vast majority of the conversations I've had are very positive, and people really appreciate it.
Did you think you were going to be in front of the firing squad?
Yeah,
a little bit there.
I did. That's what you expect, but happily surprised.
Well, there's an environmental consciousness, living here, I think, as well as we know the life of the landfill is at stake. There's a certain amount of space there, and we got to be conscious about that too, because the alternative is, not busing, but shipping this stuff out.
Right.
To
which gets even more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So let's just go through. We're down to just a couple minutes, but what the county landfill offers is a single stream recycling, textile recycling, electronics recycling, mattress recycling, tires, books, appliances. What are sharps?
Needles, like
sharp
medical waste, needles, medical waste type stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, just anything that is sharp, because it can kind of puncture and not play well with the general waste stream, actually.
Okay, yeah, like a sharp, rusty knife or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then medications. I didn't know you guys dealt with medications.
Yeah.
So,
we kind of bring it all in. We're a one-stop shop, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where can people go to find more? I know you guys have your website, landfillrules.com.
Right.
What are some other good resources for people?
Well, so that's the number one resource. If you're interested in the construction program, there's a web page on our overall website where you can go and learn more about the construction recycling program. I would say we're very happy to take people's calls and want to visit with the community. So
what's the best phone number to use?
Oh, see, I'm so new, I don't even remember what our phone number is. So that's
But they can find it at the website.
Pop quiz. You can find it on our website.
Landfillrules.com. Yes. Did you have fun on the show today, Michael?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much, Eric.
We'll do high Air 5 this time.
Air 5.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks
for all you do for the environment.
Yeah, thank you.
And here's some parting gifts.
Amazing.
That was a grueling test of conversation.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it.
It'll be even easier when we have you back on in the winter.
Yes, looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks again, Michael. Thank you, Luna, our mascot. Thanks, GrassRoots TV staff. And thank you guys for watching The Local Show.